Radio Music. I'm Pam, your host. My first show back since before the holidays. It seems like I've been gone forever, and I hope you all had great holidays with your loved ones, your friends, and whoever, and you got what you wanted, got what you needed, and also gave some. And today I'm so extremely excited to be able to talk to an award-winning recording artist, and his name is Ricky Rebel. And Ricky Rebel was known as Ricky G, and he was a lead singer of the Billboard charting band No Authority, who toured with Britney Spears, was discovered by Michael Jackson, and signed to Michael's label and then Madonna's label. Hello. Welcome, Ricky.
Hey, Pam. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for taking time out of your super busy schedule to join me today. We have like tons to cover and a little bit of time. So
right?
We're going to do the best that we can.
Great.
So how is your day going for you?
It's going well. The weather's really nice here in LA. I hear it's crazy over there where you're at in Chicago.
Yeah, but not as bad as the East Coast, so we're thankful for that because it's normally us that is, dealing with all these blizzard conditions, so we've had a good winter. But
Great.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Would you mind sharing with our listeners a little bit about your time with No Authority?
Sure, I'd love to. We started the group when I was just a kid. I auditioned to be in the group, and at the time, they were asking for guys to sing backup for another lead singer. So I came in, I auditioned for the group, and they put me in the studio behind the mic, and they found out that I was really quick behind the mic, and I could sing lead vocals. So before you knew it, I was one of the lead singers in the group. And from there, we made a couple demos, and it got in the hands of people at Sony, A&R representatives who came out to hear us rehearse and stuff, and they took those demos and they said, we're going to give it to Michael. And we're like, oh, okay, a guy at Sony named Michael, but it was the Michael Jackson. And they came back to us and said, Michael loved it and he wants to sign you to his label. And I was just a kid at the time, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me because Michael Jackson was my hero growing up.
So what was your reaction when you find out it was Michael Jackson that wanted to sign you? I mean, you're thinking just some guy, Michael.
Right. When I found out it was the Michael Jackson, I kind of freaked out. And as you can imagine, I mean, I was excited. I was really excited, but I was also nervous to meet him and nervous to sing for the people, sing for the president and all of that. But they ended up being a great label to work with. They released a record around 99, and we did the whole album with this guy named Rodney Jerkins, a producer who is now extremely famous. He's worked with Lady Gaga and you name it, Beyonce and everybody. At the time, it was like his first record, and he was only 19 years old, and he made the whole No Authority album. And we were doing kind of like an R&B sound, so I really had to get in touch with that soul sound in my voice. Over the span of my career, I've had to really morph myself vocally to become different, to create a different sound. When I first started, I had to, study the R&B, and then later on, we later got signed to Madonna's record label. Madonna came in and heard what we were doing, and they wanted to put us on tour with Britney Spears. So they said, hey, we're going to buy you from Sony, and we're going to release the record on our label, on Maverick Records. And that was even a bigger dream come true for me, working with not only one of my heroes, Michael, but Madonna's like my mega hero of all time.
Oh, of course, yeah.
When I found the news that we were going to be signed to her label and working with her, she's going to be my boss, I really panicked. I was really excited, and I remember doing a show for Kiss FM in Los Angeles, and one of the people from the label came up to me and said, Madonna wanted me to give you this. And it's a signed poster saying, all my love, Ricky, love Madonna, XO. And I've kept
and I
that.
bet you still have that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's in my room, of course. And I treasure that. So she signed the group, and we went on tour with Britney. We opened for Britney, and that was another big moment in my life. And being on those big stages and the fans and the tour buses. At one point, I remember being in Europe when we were opening for Aaron Carter, and fans would just grow and grow and grow for No Authority. It just became such a big phenomenon. Like, girls would come up to the bus and start shaking the tour bus back and forth. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Well, do you think that, how do I put this? You know, normally bands and singers that are starting out, start out with the, local bar around their house and, maybe venture out to the next state. But, I mean, you started out huge. Do you think that was something good for you, that you learned to do it that way, or would you have liked to start it out smaller?
Literally, yeah, you're right. We were doing interviews on CNN right off the gate. So it was big time. We were already doing we had to do shows in London for the reps at Sony, and I remember those being like a couple of our very first performances that we ever did together as a group. So yeah, it was the fast track, and yet we had a long time before that. We had a long time together as kids where we were just really honing in everything and doing kind of like that grassroots thing where we were dancing together and singing together. We had like years before we got signed.
Oh, okay.
With Michael.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been in this industry forever, since I was a kid. Since I can remember, we were constantly competing against each other in dance competitions and singing competitions, and that's how we all met, is because we were in the industry doing commercials and doing all that stuff. So my whole life has been kind of prepared for that. And I did my own version of a grassroots thing, which was going to dance classes every single day and singing every single day and paying my dues in auditions, even as a kid. So in a way, I feel like that kind of prepared me. When did you know
that you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was done. I'm done, girl.
Oh, okay. Sorry. When did you know that you wanted to be in entertainment? I mean, when did the bug hit you? Was it like 2 years old, 3 years old? Were you dancing around the house? What were you doing?
When I was like 5, I can remember watching Madonna on TV, and she was rolling around in a wedding dress. And I remember thinking to myself, who's this girl? She's rolling around in a wedding dress, and it's very like she's messing up. I just thought to myself, she's messing up in front of everybody. And I loved it. I thought to myself, she's messing up, and yet people really loved it. And I thought she was really pretty. I thought she was very beautiful and sexy and fun. Everything I liked, and I thought she was very talented. She could sing. And I kept that in the back of my mind. And then later on, I was watching gymnastics, the Olympics, and I decided I wanted to fly. I wanted to be a gymnast. And I placed like 13th in the state of California.
Wow.
I was really heavy into gymnastics when I was a kid, and it really stressed me out. I mean, we want to talk about pressure. Pressure as a gymnast. If you know athletes. And I think all of my discipline really came from those formative years of being a gymnast, having to go through what I went through with the meets and the practices and the discipline it takes to do all of that. And I was kind of getting burned out from gymnastics because I was training practically every single day. And the coaches were like, we don't want Ricky to burn out. We want him to go to the Olympics, so let's put him into dance class. And the second I went to dance class, I did a hip-hop class. I'll never forget it. It was so fun and freeing for me because I no longer was being judged for every single thing that I did. You didn't have guys with cue cards putting up a 9 or a 10 or a 6.5. You didn't point your toes there. You didn't do all of a sudden there was a freedom in dance that I didn't have when I was a gymnast. And I ended up falling in love with it, being very good at it. I would throw in a flip here and there, and I got booked on commercials like Pepsi commercials, McDonald's commercials, Mervyn's commercials, things like that. And in movies, I was in Anywhere But Here. I sang on the soundtrack. I sang on the soundtrack of Anastasia and funny story about Anastasia. Going back to Michael Jackson, my time with Michael, I remember hanging out with him at Neverland Ranch. He wanted to watch a movie. He's like, let's watch a movie. So we watched a movie in his private theater, and what was the movie that we saw? We saw Anastasia.
Oh.
It was so funny. And I was like, Michael, can you hear me? Can you hear me singing on that?
Yeah.
I'm singing on that. He's like, oh, my gosh, Ricky, that's beautiful. So that's my little Anastasia story.
Wow. I mean,
but,
even if you had quit your career at that time, I mean, what memories you have, especially with Michael and spending that time with him. And I know he gave you some advice. What was that?
I remember him sitting us down and telling me, Ricky, first of all, it's a trip to hear Michael Jackson say your name. That tripped me out.
Right.
He's like, Ricky, he said, stay away from girls. Girls break up bands.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I never forgot it. And what I think he really meant by that is that any type of tumultuous relationship is gonna can break up a band, can break up things. But he really meant girls. So there must have been experience of him with his own band, the Jackson 5.
Yeah, and a lot of people, a lot of singers will get some great songs out of a breakup or a tumultuous relationship like that. So it does help in one way if you think about it.
Well, hey, it made Taylor Swift's career.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, I also know that you met Madonna at her recording studio, but it was in a very unusual way. Would you like to share with our listeners?
I would. My producer at the time, Rodney Jerkins, called me up and said, you need to come over here right now. There's somebody that you need to see and meet. And I'm like, he knows who I love. He knew who I loved. And if you think I'm obsessed with her now, I was really, every other word was that woman's name. I'm not even going to say it. I say it too often. But it was every other word. And so I said, it can't be that person. And he's like, get over here now. So I went over there, and sure enough, I could hear her screaming at her producer in the other room. And she's, she's walking down the hall. She's like screaming, and I'm like, I recognize that scream. I'm like, I recognize that. And I love it. And I end up walking down the hall to go to the bathroom, and I look in the other way. I look to my left, and through the door, I see this woman on the phone. She reminds me of my dance teacher, Marguerite Derricks, who was my dance teacher growing up. And I looked at her, and she just gave me the most disgusted look any human being has ever given me. And then she stood up, and then I kept walking. I was like, oh, God, I'm in trouble. So I just walked. I kept walking down the hall, and I heard the door slam, pow. I was like, oh, my God, I just got the door slammed by Madonna. That's so fantastic. So cool. I pissed her off. And then later on, she was outside playing with her daughter on my friend's truck. So he forced me to. I was so nervous to meet her. Gosh, I was so nervous. So he's like, let's go out and let's go meet Madonna. Come on, we're going. I'm like, okay. So we went out, and we pretended to get something out of the car, and there she was, and she's like, she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm playing with Lola on your truck. So she took Lola off the truck, and she just we struck a conversation with each other, and she was really sweet and beautiful. Beautiful woman. She's guarded. That's the best way I could describe her. She's guarded. She's a guarded person. You could tell it's kind of like, what do you want type of vibe. Like, what do you want? Suspicious.
Right.
But after a while, she kind of warmed up. We talked about being signed to Michael's label and what that was like, and she introduced us to her producers, and it was a great conversation.
Well, I'm glad you got to speak with her. I mean, I've met some of my artists that I absolutely adore and love, and you have this conversation in your head as you're waiting to speak with them, but then when you get up to them, everything just goes away, and you start going, duh.
Isn't that the weirdest
like that for
thing
you?
in the whole world? Yeah, it was like that for me, only with Madonna. Yeah, it's like everything goes out the window, everything you wanted to say to them. Because you don't want to say, hey, you really influenced my life in a huge manner, in a huge way. I'll never be the same because of you. They don't get it. It's like when people, like when fans talk to me, when fans reach out to me and write me letters and say, hey, you really influenced me, you really inspired me. I even get some mail from fans who were going to commit suicide, and because of my music, because of who I am, and my just reaching out to them and being there for them, they said I'm not going to commit suicide because of you, Ricky Rebel. You really inspired me in my life, and that means a lot to me. And in a way, I think I'll never really understand that. The only way I can kind of put it into perspective is how I feel about her, or how I feel about other people who've really inspired me. There are only so many people that have really inspired me. It's like Michael Jackson, Madonna, David Bowie, who is now gone, and Prince. I mean, that's about it. Those are pretty much the top people that I can honestly say I'd kind of go a little bit like, speechless.
Yeah, well, it was nice to get over that little bump, though, and then be able to have the conversation with her and be signed to her label and everything. I mean, you've accomplished so much in your career, and you've got so much more yet to do. Do you take breaks in between and just get some downtime, or do you just keep going?
No. Anybody who knows me knows that I work constantly. Like from 4 a.m. when I wake up, I'm doing things online. I'm editing photos. I'm, editing video, a lot of video editing lately. I work on my own websites. I do WordPress websites. I do all of my social media, and I have a great PR team around me, but it's my responsibility to give them the proper things in order to let them do their job. So everything has changed now. I mean, cut to back then, the label handled all of this stuff for us, and I didn't realize how good we had it. I think at the time I did realize how good we had it, and I wanted to work harder to maintain that. And I think I was working with a bunch of guys that really just wanted to party, get laid, and not even get laid. They just wanted to get drunk and talk to girls and stuff like that. I never understood it. I was like, you guys, we got to work hard to maintain and to get better and to be better than the rest so we can maintain that. So cut to now, I'm a workaholic. I find it hard to relax. I find it hard to, quote unquote, wind down. But my time, I try to take some time into the Pilates studio. I love Pilates. So I'll take a class, and that's like my time. For an hour, it's just me and the instructor and just losing myself in my own body in a way.
Yeah, and you need that. I mean, even workaholics need to realize that they have to take some time, even if it's just 30 minutes a day, just to have some downtime. And that doesn't include getting a lot of sleep, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do what you do.
Oh, yeah. And girl, I love sleep. That's one thing about me. Yeah. I can sleep on a dime. I fall asleep on a dime. But you got to meditate, too. That's really important, to quiet the mind.
Right.
And it's hard for me to find that. That's the hardest thing, is just to kind of meditate and sit down and not do anything, just focus on the breath or whatever. That's important, though, because that's where all your creativity comes from, I believe.
Yeah, well, if your brain is burnt out, what are you going to be able to do? If your body's burnt out, what are you going to do? So it all has to come together, and otherwise you're going to be sitting there just, tapping on the piano and doing nothing. So how long after the breakup of No Authority did you decide to be a solo artist, and how did the band My Chemical Romance have a hand in your solo career?
I knew I wanted to be a solo artist from the day I started No Authority, and the boys did not like that. I would say, okay, you guys, this is our stepping stone to do greater things with our own projects. They didn't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't like that. They wanted it to be a group. But that's the thing. I didn't grow up I didn't play team sports. I wasn't a baseball player. I wasn't a basketball player, a football player. I was a gymnast. And
right.
we
and that's
fight.
Solo.
It's solo, baby. You might be on a team, but you're winning the goal, for yourself, and you're actually competing against your other teammates. So that is something I kind of do regret. I think that if I have a child, which I really feel I will one day, I might want to put them into some sort of team sport so that they can learn how to work as a team and not be as competitive as I am, because it gets intense sometimes being that way. Anyway, how did I start my solo career, and how did My Chemical Romance influence that? Was in 2010. In 2010, this casting director approached me. We were at a Pilates class, and she approached me and said, "This is you." And she put a piece of paper on the desk, and it was a picture of androgynous-looking person with tights and roller skates and a helmet. And at the time, the character was called Lady Boy. She said he's half man, half woman. He's really androgynous. He has characters. He said when you turn around, he wants to trick people to think that it's a girl. So she's like, "This is you. Come to the fitting and try on the clothes, and we'll take photos of you. And if he likes you," I'm like, "Who's the he?" Gerard Way. Oh, okay. Gerard, the lead singer. Lead singer of My Chemical Romance. And we did the fitting. The outfit fit me perfectly. The skate, like it was made for me. And we went from there and just went on set. I got to meet him. I got to meet all of his crew, they were like family, the label. And they worked really efficiently. Gerard was in control of all the aspects of the video shoot. And I got to see that in action, because before that I was, like I said, in the boy band, and everything was kind of done. They told us basically, this is the director, this is what you're going to do, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And from there, we just struck it off as a great relationship. He's like, "God, you got a great ass." He's like, "You have the best butt ever." I'm like, "Thank you." His wife too. She's like, "Oh my God, you're so cute." So we hit it off.
I love it.
And we worked well together, and I just saw him in action. He had a say in everything that was going on. He had a say in, this is where I want this to be placed here, this to come over here. The camera should zoom in and then come back out and then move over here and do this, that, and the other. Ricky, I want you to spin around and then pull out your gun. So everything was just hands-on, and it really inspired me. I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. This is how I want to be, and I'm going to do it. No more talking. And so I wrote a song called Get It On, and the song isn't, people kind of think it's about sex. Get it on, what you want to do with me now. But Get It On is about ambition. It's about get it on, get your career on, get your act together. And if you hear the song that way, it's a totally different meaning than what is portrayed. And I made a music video for it, and in the video, at the end I get paint thrown on my body, different color paints. And what it represents is basically the different colors of my personality coming out and letting them come out, letting them shine, not holding back anymore. And I released the video around the same time that Na 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 Na, one of the videos I was in with them. I was in 2 total. I was in Sing and Na 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 with My Chemical Romance. And when the video came out, there was an MTV special where I actually took the helmet off for a second, and all of those fans were like, "Who is that show pony?" And we immediately created, my PR team at the time, we created a Twitter account, and this is Show Pony. His name is Ricky Rebel, and you can find him here. And I grew quite a good fan base in a short amount of time that are still my fans today from those particular music videos. And I think those fans are going to be with me for the rest of my career.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's love. They follow you from one part of your career to the next. You know that they're going to be with you for life.
Right. And then I asked Gerard, I said, "Hey, can I perform with you when you do your House of Blues performance. He's like, yeah, you can open for me. Come out and you wear show pony clothes and do it. Do the thing. And I stepped out on stage in those roller skates behind the mask, and the crowd was so loud. They were screaming so crazy loud. And I felt like Michael Jackson. Like literally any move I made, anything I did. And there's video of it. If you look up Show Pony Ricky Rebel, there are a bunch of videos of me performing, and it was probably one of the performances of my life. You can do no wrong. And I had the audience in the palm of my hand, and they were just going insane. Completely insane.
I'm definitely going to look that up. Now, did you know how to skate before you did this?
I had some training, especially as doing rollerblading type skating stuff. I was like in a couple of commercials and stuff doing rollerblading, but never traditional skates. And then I had to tell him. He's like, "Can you do this?" Yeah, sure. Can you do this? Oh yeah. You want a spin with a kick? Sure, no problem. You want me to skate from one hill over to the next hill, like speed skating? Please, I got this. And I made it look like I could do it, because trust me, I was inside. I was thinking to myself, "Geez, don't fall."
I was going to say, don't fall. That's awesome. Now, when did the blue hair come in?
The blue hair came in when another thing that inspired me was watching him perform. He had this super deep red, like rich red hair. And at the time I said, I want to make over, I want something new. I'm feeling like a different person now. I want my look to reflect where I'm at in my life right now. I want to reinvent myself. So I decided that blue would be a great color for me to try, because blue looks really good on my skin tone. And we changed my hair blue, and my life completely changed after that. Everywhere I went, people would approach me and say, "Oh my God, I love your hair." And it opened up just lots of doors for me. It's really been a huge asset to me. It makes me identifiable to people. You're the guy with the blue hair, and I love it. I've been through a lot, and I call these the blue years, for better or worse. I went through a lot from like 2012 to 14. That's when I made the blue album. And I really just wanted hair to reflect the album.
And it's such a unique color, blue. I absolutely love it. It's stunning, and it fits you perfectly. So, is that hard to keep up? But you probably have it down pat by now on, how to do it and get that color right.
Girl, I had to redo it today, and the struggle is real. And it's definitely a commitment. This morning I was putting it on in my shower. I'm like shaking. I'm freezing in the shower. I'm putting on the blue. I'm like, gosh, this is such a commitment. But I love it. It's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Definitely. I love it on you. Now, I fell in love with you when I first heard your album and Manipulator. It struck something in me. You're welcome. I fell in love with you and your music. So, of course, I got the album, and I've played it often, and as a matter of fact, my ringtone on my phone is Manipulator. How do you like that?
Oh, my gosh. That's so cool.
It has been for quite a while, so I absolutely love it. Tell us a little bit more about that album, how it came about, how you chose the songs and that.
I was going through a lot of changes at that time. I was working with a producer who was very mean. He's the one who locked me in the studio and said I was going to hell for being gay.
Oh, my God.
I was with a really mean, controlling person. He's a nasty guy.
Oh,
and
wow.
I broke away from him, and someone who promised me the world, like, hey, if you change and become a rock singer, I'll make you a rock star. I know all the right people, yada yada. And nothing happened after 4 years. I made an incredible rock record that's out there somewhere in the ether. He took it down from iTunes, but it's out there. And the band was called Harlow. And I decided that, I was going to break away from that and do what I wanted to do and stop being manipulated by people and stop doing that whole game. My whole life up to that point had been a bunch of people trying to come into my world and manipulate me and try to force me to be something I'm not and change me.
Right.
And I let it happen because I was seduced by what it is that I thought that they could do for me. But in the end,
Right.
they couldn't do anything for me that I really wanted because it was fake anyway. Even if I had made it as that persona, being that rock thing, that wasn't really who I wanted to be in the very first place when I was watching Madonna roll on the floor. That's what I like. I like things like that. I like what she was doing. And Madonna was a dancer, first and foremost. I'm a dancer, and there's nothing that this person can or that person can take away from me about that. I will always be that and also a singer at the same time. I'm both. And if you take one of those things away from me in the way that a lot of producers have tried to do with me, and they still do to this day, why are you dancing? Why are you doing that? I'm dancing because I can and because I love it. That's why I'm doing it. And I'm going to be moving till the day I die, Mick Jagger style, till I'm 80 or whatever. And that's just the way it is. That's the kind of person I am. I didn't grow up like David Bowie in the jazz clubs with the saxophone in my mouth. I grew up in dance class. I grew up in theater class. I grew up in opera training, that kind of thing. So, of course, my music needs to reflect that. And when I made Manipulator, it was I was making these demos on the side while I was making that rock record, fantasizing about what would it be like if I could just dance and sing. This is way before Gaga. And I played my demos to this particular producer, and I said, hey, can we produce some of these and get some of the producers to do something like this? And I played for the producer. They'd be like, oh, I love this song, Straight Jacket. I remember the guy I was working with who worked with Ricky Martin. He loved it. He loved that song. And Randy Cantor. And he and Sammy heard, he's like, oh, no, we're not doing that song. No way. Because it's actually a song about equality for gay people, LGBT. And he's like, if people find out you're gay, you're not going to go anywhere in this career. You're not going to do anything with your life. Middle America will never accept you. So Manipulator was a rebellion against a personality like that, and against a lot of personalities like that I've encountered in the music business, especially the homophobic, at the time, and a little bit now, homophobic music industry. So I created Manipulator, and it was just a bunch of eclectic songs that I was working on while in the midst of doing the rock thing.
And I'm so happy you did that. I'm so happy that you stayed true to yourself and what you want to do and what you believe in, and put out such a phenomenal album. And I'm telling the fans right now, you're welcome, telling the fans, the listeners right now, the Blue album, oh my God. Oh my God. I listened to it. Thank you very much. It's phenomenal. I cannot wait for everybody to hear this. Tell them about it, please.
The Blue album is special to me because it really talks about, the main theme of it is that there's love after loss. When you lose somebody in your life, like say a breakup or even death, that you will be able to find new love. You will love again. And a lot of times when that happens, we kind of think to ourselves, oh my God, I'm never going to fall in love. Nothing, it's not going to work. But life has a cyclical way of moving. It's cyclical. And so the album has that type of journey. It goes through the breakup period. I have a song called Too Late where I'm just fed up with this person and who was just treating me really, really badly. And we end up breaking up. And later on I talk about desire and how desire is a broken heart and how I was reading about Buddhist wisdom and how desire is the root of our of suffering. So I wrote a whole song about that particular sentence and that particular theory with Buddhism. And Desire is a beautiful ballad. It's a waltz. I really pushed myself vocally on that song. And then I have really fun tracks. I start the record with this song called Star, and that song kind of was one of those songs that you just kind of write and it just flows out of you. You don't have to think. It just happens, and that's exactly what happened. A guy at the time who was my manager, he asked me a question. He said, "What do you want?" Just point blank, because he's like, "I can give it to you." Because at the time he was working. At the time he was working with this huge Fleetwood Mac people, and he represented a lot of people. He's like, "I can do this for you. I could put you on tour. I could put you in Asia. I could put you over here. Just what do you want? Just tell me what you want." I'm like, "It's very simple what I want. I want to be a star." It's the same commitment I've had since I was a kid. I don't have to think very hard about what it is that I'm committed to being. That's just what it is. And so I wrote the song, I Want to Be a Star, and so many people, so many kids out there want to be stars. And it's not enough to just say, I want to be a star. You have to say, I am a star. And you have to invent it as a possibility and share it with others. I'm a star. And what you do when you do that is you give other people permission to be stars in their own lives. So Star starts the record, and then from there we take a journey, and we end up finding new love after I've lost the person in my life. I found new love, and I wrote a song called I Adore You. There are a lot of fun. I wanted the record to be fun. I wanted to have a real contrast of light and dark, light blue and dark blue. So there's a lot of light blue type tracks where it's like dance and fun and energy, like Boys and Sometimes Girls, which is really probably one of the best songs I've ever done, I think, because it just, every time I play it, people just get this huge smile on their face, and it's just a real blunt song about who I am and what I like and how I'm a little bit different than other people, but in the end, I think that we're all kind of the same. And Boys and Sometimes Girls is going to be my next single, and we're working on a music video for it, and it's going to happen. It's going to be big. It's going to be the makeup company that's sponsoring me right now, Must Have, it has agreed to work with us and to help us make this video, and I'm really excited. It's going to be great.
And I'm excited for you, and I can't wait to see it. I'm actually, when I let you go, I'm going to play for our listeners Star and Boys Sometimes and Sometimes Girls, if I can talk. There we go.
There it is.
But I wanted to say congrats on Star, because it's being played by DJs across 15 countries. I mean, that's amazing, and with it just coming out.
Yay. Yeah, the Hector Fonseca remix. Hector Fonseca has had 15 number one hit songs with Sia, Madonna, Lady Gaga, and now they're playing my song in 15 countries, and it's just amazing.
I mean, a lot of people can't even imagine that, and you're actually doing it, and you have so much more that you want to give back to all of us. And people take your songs maybe not the way that you intended them to be, but there's something in all of them that we can fit into our own lives. And Star is one that reminds me of my daughter, because from the minute she could talk, she wanted to be a star. And, she danced, she sang, she went to modeling classes, she did all of that. And for some reason, as she got into the teen years, it fell along the wayside. So I guess she didn't want it that bad. But, I mean, that's something that I can, relate to, as far as it makes me think of my daughter, and she's now 25. And I miss those little girl years, but
oh, yeah.
Still proud of her.
And you think of her when that song plays. That's so nice.
Exactly.
It's so sweet.
And I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised to hear Desire and Faithfully. And I have to say they're two of my favorites on that album besides the other one.
Yeah. Yes. Faithfully. That's another one. That's a crowd pleaser. I put on my cowboy hat on that one during our shows. I put on the cowboy hat and I sing faithfully to the crowd, and I love that song too. That's a very personal song about finding love and getting engaged. So.
Well, it's beautiful, and I can't wait for the fans to hear it. Now, when does this album actually release?
It is available now. It's available on iTunes.
It's available now. Okay.
You just have to search Ricky Rebel, the Blue Album, and you'll find my catalog of music, or even just Ricky Rebel on iTunes. You'll find Manipulator there. All of my music is available on iTunes, including some pretty cool covers. I did an Adam Lambert cover of Ghost Town that people really like, and I also I'm on Spotify, which a lot of people love Spotify. You can find all my music right away on Spotify and on YouTube as well.
And they can also go to your website, RickyRebelRock.com, and they can find all the information there and where to find you.
Yes, and if you can check out my, if you could like my Facebook page and be a real rebel and like my Facebook page, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Twitter. I love talking to my fans. I love interacting with them, and it's I call them my Rebel Mafia. So join my Rebel Mafia.
Well, I've been to a few of your stage shows, too, and I absolutely love when you do that because it's so personal, it's so private, and you get to interact with the other fans, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Stage it, yeah. My gosh, it's been a while since I've done one of those.
Yeah.
You mean like the live thing? That was a long time ago.
Yes.
Hey, well, that gave me the idea. I need to do it again.
Yes, you do.
Let's do it. I'll invite you guys to my next rehearsal. I didn't realize that you were watching. I'm going to get on that.
Yeah,
because we're going to be rehearsing a lot
for quite some time. So definitely, I'd love to see another one.
I love you, Pam. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one more thing before I let you go. I wanted to say congrats on being in Us Weekly. With fashion, and you actually did a catwalk for the designer Tumbler and Tipsy with Kendall Jenner, and it's so amazing for you to be able to do all of these things. What do you most enjoy about doing fashion-related things?
I love walking the catwalk. I'm a big ham. I love the catwalk. Yeah. It's so fun. At the very end of the walk, I like to do the rebel leg where I lift my leg up in the air and let all those cameras flash in my face. Yeah. It's just a big performance for me. It's just a big performance, and I like the adrenaline. It's just like a show. It's very much like a performance, and
right.
Yeah. And I love great clothes too. And Michael Kluva makes some really, really cute stuff and pop art, like very pop and cute and fun clothing. We love him. And I also just love fashion in general. I've become quite adept at seeing what works and what doesn't work on me and other people very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. That's not going to work.
Turn around, go home, and change that, right?
Right. I'm not that mean, but you know what I mean? I'm like, just put the belt here and position this over here. And it's like a puzzle. Or I'm very quick too with my assessment of things. No, that doesn't work. No. A lot of my friends will ask me, what do I do here? And I'm just very quick. Because I've studied, I've done a lot of. I like to get runway fashion magazines, and only the runway ones though. I don't waste time with Vogue and the articles and Vanity Fair and all that. I don't do the article thing. I like to look at specifically what are they wearing on the runway, what's happening, what are the trends, and do I agree? Do I like them? Do I not like them? What do I like about them? Who's doing what? And I usually lean towards more of the costume type of, quote-unquote, costumey type of looks. Really bold, avant-garde type of fashion, because I feel like they're actually taking risks. I mean, if I look at Calvin Klein, I yawn and
yeah.
it's just way too bland. And
you could get away with it, but that's not what we want to see you in. That's not you.
Yeah. I'd love to just one day just rock a nice suit. I'll do that. I'll do that every now and then. Rock a nice suit and call it a day. But I want more from my fashion. I definitely like it when people push the envelope.
Yeah, and you do that. I mean, I love your outfits. I absolutely love them. Would I wear them? No. I would get the sideways glance from every person on earth, including my husband and children, and they would lock me in my room. But
you know what's so funny? I can wear the craziest outfits, and just people they go, oh, I could walk down the street and nobody even makes a thing about it. It's just like, yeah, he's wearing that. I think it's just the way I wear it. I wear things like, yeah, deal with it. Like, right? This is what I'm wearing, and this is it. Like, this is me. And I don't know. I don't really get. I guess if I went maybe to a different part of the U.S., maybe I get a different reaction, and I would love it.
You
People
might.
Just like,
I mean, think about a small town in Montana or something. I mean,
Yeah. Look at me cross-eyed. That would make my day. I'd love it.
You might change some people's minds and have more of Ricky Rebels walking around after that, though. Influence them into some different things. So
that's
take
the point.
A chance, people. Yeah.
Be bold. Life's too short.
That's it. And speaking of, and I hate to bring this up, but of course, one of your idols has just passed, and there seems to be so many of them that have recently passed. And David Bowie was one of those that was putting things out there many years before, these days, like what you're doing. He did things his own way. So I think you guys had a lot in common. And it's awesome in a way, in a sad way, and in a happy way, that you're in the same issue of Us Weekly as he is.
Yeah, I did. I noticed that. He's on the cover. It was a devastating thing.
Yeah. I mean, it was, actually it was like, what is the word I'm looking for? We didn't expect it. Because you didn't know he was sick. So, I mean, he was one of the great ones, and his legacy will live on. What do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be about somebody who was really, I just have to look at my heroes. A lot of my heroes are very bold people. They're very courageous people. They put their money where their mouth is. They go out and they put their booties on the line. They put their blood on the line, and to go after the things that they believe in and the causes that they believe in. And a lot of what I'm doing is to fight for not only gay rights, but just people who are similar to me in a sense that they don't really quite fit in, but they know. But we know that there's talent behind that creativity, and that there's nothing really. I just want to be somebody who fights for that type of personality, and I want to be an advocate. I want people to think of. I want to be very successful. I want to prove to people that you can be who you are and very, very successful at the same time. You don't have to hide who you are. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not, and that's huge to me. And I want to be kind of somebody who was just a powerful man, the new Alva, and which is the next thing that I'm working on in my mind right now. That's why my hair is a peacock color. It's peacock man. I want to be known as a man, someone who's just proud and beautiful and strong and sensitive and strutting his stuff and living life and having fun and traveling the world and wearing the best, the greatest clothes, being glamorous and intelligent and all of the things that I really felt Bowie represented. And I want to just carry on that legacy, carry on that type of legacy.
Right. and just being proud of who you are. Don't be afraid to be who you are. And, more people these days have come to not just look at people like, looking at a book and just looking at the cover. A lot of people are going more inside the book now and reading the pages to find out who people are before they make their decision on whether they're going to like them or not or what they do. And I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
So that would be a great legacy for you, and I believe that you can do it, and you already started it, and I have all the faith in you.
Thank you. I think that
welcome.
when I get older too, and I've done a bunch of world tours on my belt, and I've seen the world, traveled, and done these big stages, I really think I'm going to become more political. I think I'm going to be some type of a voice. I feel like I'm going to be a voice for a cause that I really, really believe in, and people that I really want to fight for. And I have a big heart, and I'm very sensitive. So I know that the second I see real suffering, like in my face, it's going to really change me, and it's going to force me to do maybe even a different career path, or maybe even like become more political or what have you. But at the same time, I'm always going to do music. I'm always going to produce and perform, because that's what I love to do. But I can see that also happening for myself as well.
Yeah, and I can see you sitting behind the president's desk and then getting up and dancing on it. So
you know what I mean? I just know I want that power to influence, and even now it's just doing when I'm living my dream. And I thank you for having me on your show today. I really appreciate it, Pam.
You're very welcome, and I'm sorry I kept you longer than 30 minutes, but there's so much to cover, so much more to cover, but we'll have you back again, and definitely keep doing what you're doing and keeping us happy as well.
Thank you so much, and thank you for hitting all of those points and promoting my work, and I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and I will be playing your music on my show for as long as it lasts, so definitely keep it coming. Keep it coming.
I will, and I'll do a stage it just for you, Pam.
Oh,
we're going to hit that stage it.
Thank you. Oh, my gosh. I know so many fans are going to be excited.
Let's do acoustic versions of Faithfully and Desire. That'd be so pretty.
Oh, melting my heart, dude. You're melting my heart.
Good.
Well, I'll let you go. Thanks again for joining me. You enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, what an amazing guy he is. A singer, artist, you name it. I love him, and I will always be behind him. I will always support his career. I will always play his music, and looking forward to that Stage It show. He does have, which I didn't get to ask him, but we're running way past his time. I was only supposed to have him for 30 minutes, but like I said, there's so much about Ricky that, I want to know, that I want to learn, that I want you guys to learn and to hear. It just kind of went past, so I'm sorry. But he has an upcoming West Coast tour with Blood on the Dance Floor, and be sure to go to his website, rickyrebelrocks.com, and check out the dates and stuff for that. I'm going to start out with, I'll start out with Star from his new album, The Blue Album.
I am a star. I am a star. I am a star. I wanna be a star. I wanna go real far. S-T-A-R. I am a star. I wanna be a star. I wanna go real far. S-T-A-R. I am a star. I wanna be a star. I wanna go real far. S-T-A-R. I am a star.
And that was Star by Ricky Rebel off his new album, the Blue Album. Pick it up now. It's available on iTunes, Spotify, probably wherever you get your music from. Looks like I've run out of time, so unfortunately I can't play the next two songs, but I'm going to play them on my next show, which is going to be the second Monday of February. I don't have the date in front of me. Unfortunately, we went a little bit long with Ricky, so I lost time. I'm sorry about that. But thanks, everybody, for joining me. Thank you to Ricky. Thank you to Lee for setting this up. I really appreciate it. And I have the little voice on my phone going 60 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Pick up Ricky's album. Go to RickyRebelRocks.com. Follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and wherever else. Take care, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Get connected with Take Two Radio Music on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio Music. Or for email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests,